Well, we're back again with another no-fluff analysis on the Festival Phenoms Summon Showcase, running from the 30th of June to the 11th of July UTC. Luckily for me, this showcase was released on a Sunday, so I get to release this video just a bit earlier in the day than I usually would. Anyway, let's get straight to it. Our first unit added in this showcase is the 5-star Shadow Sword, Yaten. Keep in mind he's a sword, not a blade user, even though he's holding two of those wooden swords, Mokuto, whatever. But yes, 5-star Shadow Sword. His first skill, Festival Rush, deals 4 hits ahead and increases his energy by 1 stage. When he's energized, this skill will add 6 additional weaker hits, and if you count in the additional potency from being energized, then it deals roughly 4.5 times the amount of damage, not counting in his abilities. Yaten's second skill, Bold Blade, increases the whole team's energy by 2 stages, fairly simple. Being a sword unit, Yaten has the Dragon Haste co-ability. His first ability, Energy equals Strength and Critical Rate. This grants Yaten a scaling buff of up to 20% strength and 8% crit rate as his energy levels increase. Yaten also has Paralysis Resist, which puts him in a place to challenge High Jupiter when that's released. And for his third ability, he has Energized Strength. So this grants Yaten a 20% strength buff for 15 seconds when he caps out on energy. Together with the rest of this kit, with the 20% strength buff at maximum energy, and then the additional 20% for 15 seconds at maximum energy, and then Festival Rush dealing additional hits at full energy, then Festival Rush is looking to deal maybe even like 6 to 7 times the amount of damage that it normally would in a single cast. So yeah, Yaten looks like he's going to be a very sort of spiky source of damage. So the playstyle seems to revolve around building up energy, making use of that high amount of energy, then blowing all the energy on a single cast of Festival Rush, which should hopefully be stacked with buffs to increase the damage even more. And then your energy resets to 0, you lose your buffs, and then you build it up again. Overall, he seems like a slightly different style or shadow incarnation of Albert, and Albert's pretty well regarded as a light sword user. Next up in the showcase we have the 5-star Shadow Blade, Natalie. Her first skill, Defiant Dance, deals 3 hits ahead and increases her energy up by 1 stage. The damage scales up as Natalie's hit points decrease, so a bit similar to the way that Veronica's skill 1 also increases in damage. Natalie's second skill, Clean Slate, cleanses or debuffs. It also has additional differing effects based on the level of hit points you are at when you activate Clean Slate. At below 30% hit points, it grants you a 15% strength buff for 10 seconds. If your hit points are at 30% or higher, it will reduce your hit points to 20% and grants a Divergent Shield, which blocks an attack dealing up to 80% of your maximum hit points. Apparently the Divergent Shield also stacks with other ordinary shields. Being a blade unit, Natalie gives the strength co-ability to the rest of her team, and her other abilities are Extra Energy, which means that Natalie has an 80% chance to gain an extra level of energy whenever she gains energy, essentially. Natalie also has Paralysis Resist, and her final ability, when her hit points are less than 30%, she gains 20% strength and 10% attack rate. This is active whenever the hit points are below 30% and is not a temporary buff, a la Last Defense. Being a Shadow Blade unit, Natalie clashes with Ieyasu. So would you put Ieyasu and Natalie in the same team? Maybe High Jupiter teams could run both? Does Energize increase bleed damage? Either way, Natalie has a very glass cannon playstyle. The game plan seems to be to activate Clean Slate and then pump out lots of damage, trying your best not to get hit in the meanwhile. The shield granted by Clean Slate will absorb a hit, and since it stacks with other shields, it might mean that Natalie has some decent synergy with Nyarlathotep. Once you reduce your hit points and your shields are gone, your healer should top you up, or maybe before the shields are down, and then you promptly damage yourself again to gain the buffs because you hit your healer. And for the 5-star Shadow Dragon added in this showcase we have Shinobi. Shinobi grants 20% strength and 70% skill damage. His skill, Shuriken Shower, deals 13 weak hits and 1 stronger hit in an AoE based on the target, and then energizes the entire team. So essentially Shinobi is a Shadow-style Konohana Sakuya, except energizing the team instead of just granting a buff to the user. This favours shadow heroes with a large amount of ability damage. Based on the blue sim, at least Botan, Ieyasu, Veronica and Zace benefit from a Shinobi over other shadow dragons. While the 4-team Energize seems great, on paper you do have to keep in mind that sometimes the timings might not always work out. For example, if you activate the skill when units on your team already have a few levels of energy but aren't capped out, then the 4-team Energize might be slightly wasted. However, it's probably always going to be a damage increase. This is our first showcase with Shadow Adventurers and Shinobi, the Shadow Dragon, that revolves around the energy system. If more are introduced, then it could become violently synergistic, so do keep in mind that energy mechanics and other similar mechanics do sort of restrict the design space a little. However, I'm pretty interested to see what kind of team compositions we could see with the predicted incoming High Jupiter trial. For example, would we run maybe 2 Yaten, 1 Natalie, 1 High Gold? An energy team composition? Or would people just bring bleed units? Or maybe bleed and energy synergize together, who knows? As always, we also have the Wyrmprints that were added with the showcase but are not part of the showcase summon itself. The 5-star print, Indelible Summer, grants water units Affliction Guard 3, blocking afflictions up to 3 times per quest, and also water units Skill Haste plus 9%. This makes our water units slightly more versatile, so units can bridge across from High Dragon Trials to Imperial Onslaught or vice versa. Now you can run Fjorm in Imperial Onslaught without getting stunned all the time. The skill haste is also generally not too bad, but only useful if it actually increases the number of times that you cast a skill within a quest. But additional skill haste could also stack very well with a water bow on your team, so Larinella or Wake. The 4-star print, Taiko Tandem, has 30 hits equals energy level up, and skill prep plus 20%. 30 hit requirement requires you to be fairly proficient in dodging, and 30 hits is also pretty difficult for a lot of non-bow, dagger or wand units. But this print could be really fun to use with someone like Dragonure Cleo or maybe Lucretia. Lucretia is quite weak though, based on the energy tax, and also she was also one of the first units to introduce the energy mechanic. In terms of older content that are also on Raytop on this summon showcase, we have Sonoa, the 4-star Fire Wand, Orion, the 4-star Shadow Dagger, and Silka, the 4-star dragon that has a split hit point and strength buff. As for my own opinion on whether or not you should pull on this showcase, then I'm sure many of you have heard this before. Since this is not a limited showcase, then you'd probably be best off holding off until maybe Gala or pulling on a limited banner. However, with the upcoming new chapter, like new story chapter, and the previous trend of new High Dragon Trials being added alongside those story chapters, we're looking at the next High Dragon Trial being Jupiter. So I'd recommend that if you plan on doing High Jupiter and you don't already have shadow units that are equipped to deal with High Jupiter, for example, maybe units from the Eastern Emissaries banner, then maybe pull on the showcase? I'm not sure. With the current event rerun, do be sure to get Botan. Botan could be a very good unit to bring to High Jupiter as well, so long as you don't stack on too many bleed units, as you do get very, very heavily diminishing returns on more bleed units in a team. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I wish you luck in your upcoming pulls.